Well, good morning and welcome to VOP this morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning, wet in some parts. And yes, of course, NIMET has issued warnings that asking Nigerians to be careful, especially in certain parts of Nigeria, north central, the northwest, and down south as well, as for the next 3 days, these areas will experience rainfall. Some heavy, some not so heavy, but be careful as you go about your activities. And also, the weather is such that everyone seems to be falling sick right now. So guard yourself properly, cover yourself up, all right? Get yourself some balm or something to heat up your body so you don't feel cold. Now, that's me being a doctor this morning. I am Moses Humphrey. Welcome on board. Now, first on our plate this morning, Bode George slams Atiku as party seeks Peter Obi's return and moves to expel Wike.
Okay, good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukuma Okoro. Good morning, Moses.
Good morning to you.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Okay, now, apart from the first topic, there are other topics too, like we are investigating 18 sitting governors for financial crimes. This is according to the EFCC. And away from that, ADC faults Tinubu over failed power promise, once of 2027 consequences. Now, these are the major topics of discussion. But before we get into all of that, you can also be part of this family by clicking on the subscription button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Well, you can also share your views by calling or sending WhatsApp messages to the number scrolling on your screen. Now, talking about the trending stories, the Edo State government has clarified that Governor Monday Okpebholo's remarks about Peter Obi's visits were not a threat, but a call for security protocol compliance. That's more like damage control. Well, the governor had linked Obi's June 7 donation of 15 million naira at the hospital to a resurgence of violence, urging that future visits require clearance. Well, in a statement, CPS, that's Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Fred Itwa, said the comments were misinterpreted and rooted in growing security concerns, especially attacks on religious leaders. He added that public donations should be made discreetly and in line with security measures. I think this is a lot because it looks like Governor Monday Okpebholo has beaten more than he can chew. Nigerians are trolling him, netizens are trolling him, and because clearly, as a person, I think it's his concern is gravely misplaced because, I mean, Obi's donation of 15 million naira and 3 people were killed was a mere coincidence. So who was in Edo State the day 16 people were killed? Who has always been in Edo State when people were killed? Cultists, murderers, kidnappers, headsmen, and all of these people who visited Edo State in all of those periods. You know, so it's clearly political. This is not the first time. We recall what went down in Benue State when Obi wanted to visit and the governor said, look, you are not welcome here. And the thing is that anytime there is this pushback, they make the man stronger. They make him come on stronger, more accepted by the people. So inadvertently, the APC, they are the ones actually promoting the cause that Peter Obi stands for. Unfortunately, that is what it is. Like I said, it's more like a damage control. But unfortunately, I mean, it's like a bullet. It's already been shot. You can't take it back. And Nigerians are weighing in on several angles of it. What does that mean? Is it politics? Is it 2027? Clearly, that is what it is. Oh, well, Moses, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's interesting that the governor, made those remarks. And those remarks were, right, like you said, misplaced. Quite unfortunate, too. And what the Chief Press Secretary is doing, damage control. I think he's doing a good job. Yes, he's doing a good job at it because he even quoted the scriptures.
Yes, he quoted the scriptures. I saw it. That when you are giving, your left hand should not know what I mean.
Now, when politicians give, how do they give in Nigeria? The other day, politicians will give you 1,000 naira, 500 naira. In fact, if you remember, when Buhari, I think prior to the 2019 election, Buhari was giving out some monies I think in Katsina.
Okay.
He was giving out monies, 500 naira to people at the time, and some people died. There was stampede, and some people died. Tinubu's son, Sheyi Tinubu, gave during the Muslim fast. He gave out food. There was chaos. People were pushing each other, trampling on each other to get to the food. Now, nobody prevented him from getting from traveling or entering any state. So it's interesting that the states where APC now holds sway in terms of being the governing the governing party in the states is they all seem to be going after Peter Obi. The other time in Lagos too, there was some sort of pushback in Kano. Was it Kano or Kaduna, where there was supposed to be a rally for his to celebrate his birthday party? The state government issued a warning that there should be no rally, as that might be hijacked. And when they say a rally will be hijacked, we know what it means.
You know what it means, clearly.
Yeah, we know what it means. So there seemed to be the fear. The fear of Peter Obi is the beginning of
political wisdom in Nigeria. Political wisdom,
as it were. And it just, for those that are discerning, it shows that truly, the political bigwigs know that he holds the key, and there is a massive support. The governor said a few things also. He said, now, the issue of people dying, I think that needs to be investigated.
Okay.
Because there is no record anywhere that I have seen that indicates that 3 people died after his visit to the hospital.
Or even during the visit.
Or during the visit, where he gave out 15 million
naira.
There's no record of anybody dying. So I think that should be investigated and debunked if, in fact, it's been found to be untrue. So we don't just put out something and leave it there, hanging. There's a lot going on right now, and the governor also said because of we know how Edo State is, how they see him. Please, he needs to explain how they see him. Because if I remember clearly, he had a good outing during the 2023 elections in Edo State.
Yes,
he had quite the numbers in Edo State. So, Governor, Monday, Popular, please, how do they see him? Tell us how they see him, so we get to understand.
And one funny thing, so I'm surprised that you said that okay, I understand.
No, he's done a good job because he
quoted the scriptures
to back up his, that will sway the argument a bit. Oh, truly, if you want to give, maybe you shouldn't do it in the open if you are sincere and honest.
Yes, but our first lady has also been doling out billions of naira. He went to
and it's not done in secret.
He's not done in secret. And you see, and another thing that the governor said that got me worried is that, if you want to give, to a public institution, you must have to route it, through the government for clearance, so that you don't take the shine of the government. 15 million naira to a nursing school in Edo State and all of that. It speaks to the fact that, look, that place might have been decrepit and Peter Obi came to the rescue, as he has done in so many places. It's quite unfortunate, and it begins to, we begin to interrogate the freedom of movement because it's more like a constitutional breach on the person of Peter Obi. It's Obi today. It could be another person tomorrow.
He's a Nigerian and he has
the right to move around. So now, before I get into Edo State, maybe I need to get a clearance also from Peter Obi. From Monday Obebolo.
In fact, the statement of the governor is detrimental to the perception of investors on the state, because now people start to think, is Edo State unsafe? Should I go there and invest?
Is it a security flashpoint?
Will I need to get the governor's approval to have security follow me around? Investors, you want investors to come in. Do you think they would want to come when a governor makes such a statement? His safety will not be guaranteed. In fact, he said his safety will never be guaranteed. I think if we had the video, it would have been nice to even remind Nigerians of the exact words of the governor before we have people trying to polish it and make it sound.
Now, this is a governor that's even struggling. The last Fox Pass was when he said he was going to give the president 2.5 million votes. And Nigerians are asking, how many votes did he score to become governor of Edo State? Between him, PDP, and the other party, it was less than 700,000. So how come he's now guaranteeing 2.5 million votes? That is, the thing about our public people, our people in government, they don't even know how to handle some of these public communications. We are still dealing with something you said, and you are saying something worse than that. And it speaks to the level of, how can I put it, the level of irresponsibility on the part of people in government. The moment they get into office, they wear that toga of, do you know who I am? I am. They are more like rulers, not governors.
Yes.
Because if you're a governor, you understand that, look, you are holding that position in trust for the people. The people are the ones that put you there. So you don't ride roughshod over those people that elected you. I keep saying that, look, the stability of a society is measured not by how it treats the strong, but by how it protects the vulnerable. But Mondo Bebelo has just told us that, look, he's clearly not in control. And I think that he's trying to, to please his masters. Exactly.
He's trying to please. He's trying to please his master. Oh, fine. Yes. So we have the video now. Let's remind ourselves of his exact words. Let's just do that for a bit, and then we'll move on to another conversation.
I say no, Gashishi. I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, Gashishi, why get 15 million to donate to people? By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
Okay, so you see, there was crisis. After he left, 3 people died in Benin. Where? How? The police did not. The police did not. There's no record of that. So, can we call this a big fat lie?
Of course, that is what it is. Even if there was, is it traced to Peter Obi's presence in Edo State? So these are questions that even the governor himself should answer, and the people that are hyping him, that are trying to control, the damage he made to himself and to the good people of Edo State. But I am happy that well-meaning Nigerians in Edo State have dissociated themselves with what the governor said. The governor is quite. His comments are not truly representative.
In fact, the statement of the governor Peter Obi's life would be at risk, because the governor said whatever happens to him, he should take it. So you're already alluding to the fact that if he comes to Edo, something will happen to him.
Such a careless comment, from a governor.
Careless indeed. I think our governors, our political office holders need to go through some sort of leadership training, to know how to communicate, how to address people. You don't just speak from emotions. Let's move on to another conversation now. Somebody did speak from emotion and from his emotions, and the people are revolting. Now, not revolting per se, but refusing to accept what's been said. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the University of Maiduguri, UNIMAID chapter, have strongly rejected the federal government's decision to rename the institution after late former President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, in a statement signed by its chairperson, Abubakar Mshilia Saidu, the union described the move announced during a special Federal Executive Council meeting as politically motivated and a direct assault on the university's legacy and identity. ASU warned that the decision threatens to erase the institution's globally respected UNIMAID brand ahead of its 50th anniversary. The union has called for urgent mobilization of members and stakeholders to resist what it termed political expediency taking too far, stressing that the university's history must not be sacrificed for political patronage. Well, when this announcement came up, we said it here that our government officials tend to have something for the institutions, educational institutions. They always want to name educational institutions after one government official or not. And yes, we did say if the people accept it, fine. If they reject it, then they will speak up. But it seems the people have rejected it, and and they are speaking up. Well, if you look at it, why Borno? I think a lot has been named after Buhari already. Like cited there, the airport in Borno State is named after him already. It's the Muhammadu Buhari International Airport in Borno. There's a hospital named after him, a 150-bed hospital, Muhammadu Buhari Trauma Hospital in Maiduguri.
I like that name, trauma.
That's what it is.
Muhammadu Buhari Trauma Hospital.
Yes, that's
so
what
is
it
it that it gives people trauma when they go there? Okay, people with trauma are treated there.
Trauma can be treated there. That's the teaching.
You are naming a hospital after a man that couldn't use Nigerian hospitals. And he went to the UK.
That in itself is
it's infuriating. It's insulting. And we have his spokesperson when he was in government say, look, this man would have died long ago
if he had
attended hospitals.
And then you're naming a hospital after him.
So, and this man was.
So people should go there. People that are traumatized should go there and what now? Die?
and the trauma is caused by what? By bad governance, by misgovernance, arising from the 8 years of misrule of this same person. It's quite unfortunate.
There's also a facility named after him. I've forgotten the name of that one now, but it's also in Borno State for children that have been displaced due to insurgency, Boko Haram. There's a name for it. It just skipped my mind now. So all of these things named after him already. And then you talk about what did he do during his time to curb insurgency in Borno State? Or in Nigeria in general?
No. Even in Borno State. Let's reduce it to Borno State, where the hospital was named after him. What did he do? Let's go back to the Maiduguri something. And a lot of people, if you go to X and see what's going on, Nigerians are asking, how will you name an ivory tower a university after a man who for 8 years could not present his school certificate to Nigerians? So are you now telling people that pass through University of Maiduguri that their certificates are questionable or what? What message are you trying to pass? Because if you go back in history, I recall that certain institutions abroad, like Howard University, like Harvard, were named after people who in one way or the other contributed, to the growth of those institutions. So in what way did Muhammadu Buhari contribute to the growth of the University of Maiduguri? And again, I recall that, you see, the thing about governance is that, and internet never lies. I recall that when Goodluck Jonathan wanted to rename the University of Lagos after MKO Abiola, a lot of people, including the sitting president, said, no, you can't do that. If you look on the screen now, you see the picture where he was there shouting, it's rubbish. Fayemi and Tinubu, and a lot more people said, look, why will you rename Unilag after MK Abiola? So in this case, Mr. President, why will you have to rename University of Maiduguri after Muhammadu Buhari? And I'm happy that ASU has taken up the challenge. ASU says, look, how could you rename a university after a man who, when he was in government for 2 clear years, ASU was on strike almost 2 years. So what legacy did he leave? What are you trying to tell Nigerians, the future generations? We want to go back in history and discover that at a point, Nigerian students in all the universities, all the public universities, did not go to school for upward 18 months, more than that.
18 months.
Because a certain president closed his eyes, closed his ears to demands of the academic staff union. And students were languishing at home. Some of them died in the process of trying to go back to school and go home and all of that. A lot of them couldn't go back to school because their parents couldn't cater for them anymore. And now you are renaming an ivory tower like the University of Maiduguri after that same person. What message are we passing? I keep saying that our people in government, they have this false sense of entitlement, of accomplishment. What did Muhammadu Buhari do, to elevate the University of Maiduguri? Or to even elevate education in Nigeria? If I'm still like, we are still in search of his legacies, and we are bestowing honors on him. Quite unfortunate.
Well, it's interesting that we had to dig up this picture from 2012, where Tinubu himself was rejecting the renaming of the University of Lagos. Interesting. All the things that they protested against back then, removal of subsidy and other things, are the things that they are doing right now. So I think the electorate should be wiser when they speak to you. You should be wise. You should think to know where their statements are coming from. Is it because they care about you, or because they want to discredit one individual or one party or whatever, just so they can buy your conscience? All right, so it's really up to you what you make with your votes in 2027. Interesting times. Well, the people have spoken. Now it's up to the people also to accept the name or reject it, or go by it or not to go by it. It's really up to
yes. Moses, it's quite unfortunate. Now talking about 2027. You see, if we don't say these things, it looks as we keep living in denial, and it's not good for us to live in denial. I keep saying that, look, anything in society condones, it can never change that thing. If you go to social media, if you go on X, if you go to Facebook, if you go on Instagram, you discover that Nigerians are polarized clearly along ethnic lines. I make bold to say this. If you look at people supporting this government, 85% of them are Southwesterners. They don't see anything wrong in whatever the president does. And I begin to wonder, are we so divided that we go to market and buy from different people? Is it not the same market that all of us attend? Is it not the same hospital? Is it not the same schools? People blindly cover up everything and say, look, it is allow him to do it. Why would you allow him? And if during the period of Muhammadu Buhari, you discover that, look, Northerners were in full support of whatever Muhammadu Buhari did. And if you talk about Peter Obi, more than 50% of the people that are rooting for him are from the southeast. For how long can we go in this manner?
For how long?
For how long can we
We're
go?
Divided along those
ethnic,
lines.
our fault lines keep widening,
keep
widening every other day. No nation ever grows like this. Unfortunately, that is what
the politicians, they take advantage of that.
No, we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. So what do the politicians do? What do? Are they the ones dividing us? When they share money, do they call us? They don't. So why would we allow ourselves to be divided? It's quite unfortunate. The earlier we talked about these things, the better for us. I mean, I don't care. I'm not here to please anybody, to make anybody happy. That is the way I see it. But you also see that there are some very well-meaning people from the Southwest who say, look, enough of this charade. I mean, it doesn't make sense. This is a country. We can't build we can't build a united Nigeria going along these lines.
Then again, you can't be too sure of what you find on X, because we have people that have multiple accounts to push an agenda. One individual might have up to 10, 15 accounts. So when they chime in on an issue, they push it so much so that it starts to trend. Okay. These people are paid to do those things.
Paid by who?
Paid by individuals, paid by people.
Okay, because I understand
to push their agenda, to support, yes.
Yes, some people are paid, and who are those people that are paid?
Who are the people that are
paid?
So
is it a coincidence that some of them come out with Southwestern names?
No, well, I'm not defending the
appearance
of their names.
Up an idea,
Yes.
It happens. What I'm just saying
that people should not take it to mean the general perception of people from a particular part of the country.
No, away from social media handles where people are masked. You also see very prominent people from the Southwest supporting this government, even when they know the truth. Why? Because the president is from the Southwest.
Well, like you rightly said, we also see people from the Southeast supporting, against the government, supporting other individuals and parties, and because we are largely divided
along ethnic lines.
That's basically
the message.
What it is. Quite unfortunate. Well, let's go to the federal government is set to develop and commercialize phyto-medicines, aiming to transform Nigeria's traditional herbal remedies into scientifically backed, market-ready products. Now, Obi Adigwe, Director General of the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, revealed this in an interview with NAN, stating that a ministerial committee has been set up to drive the initiative, with NIPRD leading the process. Adigwe noted that 70 to 75% of Nigerians rely on herbal medicines like agbo and magani, yet the sector has long been neglected. He praised the current administration's commitment to changing that trend. Well, he goes on to highlight NIPRD's past achievements, including a sickle cell remedy from local plants and the world's first scientific review of Madagascar's COVID organics. We've been talking about, frontlining the usage of herbs, and it's interesting that finally government is looking, or government institution is looking at, putting a stamp on it, trying to regulate it. The argument against herbs has always been dosage, taking too much, not being regulated. But of course, if that can be done, if you can put some sort of, dosage to it, we know these things work. Plants work. Some of us have tried these things. I don't recall. There's an incident I can't forget, really, where my younger sister, quite younger me, I was really young at the time. My sister had whitlow and it was eating her finger up, and one was confused as to what to do. And a mechanic at the time just told me, "Come along with me." I went with him. We went to a bush, a bush in the area, cleared the soil, took the bark off the root of a plant, and told me what to do with it. Mash it, add palm oil to it, wrap it around the nail, and it will go. And I did that, and before morning, the whitlow disappeared, and the finger started healing almost immediately. Now, that's just one. There are a lot of other things that we grew up knowing, but we seem to have relegated everything to the background now, just focusing on orthodox medicine. So putting a stamp to it will help Nigeria. And of course, in fact, Prince King Charles says he would rather use herbs than use pills. So that's something that we should also encourage here. Oh well, that's my take on that one.
All right, I think this is a great leap forward for the pharma industry in Nigeria. And if you go to the basics of it, you will discover that what Prince Charles calls pills, is some kind of refined herbs. Because the medicine, the drugs that we take are also herbs that have been refined over time. It's a simple mixture and separation of components, to filter whatever impurities and all of that and take them away. It's a chemical process, of transforming herbs to pills. So if the pharma industry in Nigeria is able to do that, it has worked for some people. I have also used the local herbs sometimes to treat some ailments, and it works for me. It works for a lot more people, and a lot of people too. But the important thing is to calibrate it in such a way that, look, one doesn't take an overdosage of faith, an overdose of whatever it is. Because since it is not regulated to the extent that the chemical process is not filtered to ensure that one doesn't take overdose, it could become harmful at a point. So if they're able to walk through the processes to ensure that herbs are registered, are recognized by the Drug Law Enforcement Agency and all the agencies, it's a good thing in the right direction. I mean, like I keep saying, it's simply a mixture and separation of components and all of that.
All right then. Well, let's quickly take the papers now. Headlines from the dailies. Let's just keep you abreast. And don't forget, we'll come back right after the show, right after the conversation that we reeled out already. We'll be back at 10 o'clock, with an in-depth analysis of these headlines from the dailies or newspaper review. But in the meantime, from the Guardian newspaper, these are the headlines here. The window headlines: Edo, Benue governors under fire over threat to Obi. NBA proposes changes to Electoral Act once Beavers IREV legalized. Ifa Council to sue Ogun government over Awujale's burial. All right, I saw that one coming. MPC caught in rate cut trade-offs as banks demand CRR review, and then there's a breakdown of it in the Guardian fashion. And EERC revises Band A tariff from 209 to 160. That's Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission. So I think Achukuma should be happy right now. as in Enugu State, Band A that used to pay 209 will now pay 160 naira per kilowatt hour. So I'm happy for you. All right then. State Power Commissioners reject Senate's move to amend Electricity Act. Tinubu Bakari laud Awujale's contribution to APC political success. And also, PSC, others fault planned protest by ex-officers over pension scheme. These are the headlines on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, now let's quickly run through the Punch with the top headline. Ogbebelo slams Obi as Edo movement ban ignites backlash. And beside the nameplate, you have Nigerians spent over $3.6 billion annually on foreign healthcare under Buhari. That's coming from the Minister of Health, Pate. And this day, Arise TV accused of sensationalism. First Whole Core PLC clarifies share trending. Company alleges malicious intent behind media reports. Now, the big story, race to 2027. PDP's flag bearer battle begins after Atiku's exit. Zoning consensus strategy top Thursday's PDP's next agenda. Makinde, Bala, I ticket. Now, more headlines. Awujale's blessing paved way for my 2023 victory. That's coming from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the bottom strip headlines, Nat showdown, Senate draws battle lines over Natasha's return. Doctors to begin nationwide strike Thursday. And Zenith Bank emerges Nigeria's best bank at 2025 Euro Money Award. That's all from the Punch newspaper.
And that's how far we can go with newspaper headlines and the conversation this morning. Now let's get into the conversation proper, all right? Bode George slams Atiku as party seeks Peter Obi's return. And also, there's a move to expel Wike. Let's x-ray all of this when we come back. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP this morning, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Saturday, 2 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority.
Voice of the People Television awuchiela o onye nụ ya ka ọrụ ibe ya. Ị chọrọ ịmata akụkọ ndị gbara n'akwụkwọ dị iche iche n'ala anyị kwa ụbọchị? ị chọrọ ịmata ka o si afịatụ na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị, agụmakwụkwọ, azụmahịa, ime njem, ọbụladị egwuregwu, mgbasonyere anyị n'oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television. Anyị nwere ndị ọbịa bụ ọkachamara bụkwa ndị ga-enye aka tapịa isiokwu ndị anyị jiri bịa kwa ụbọchị. Anyị ga-eji ka o siri gbaa n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche wee malite tupu anyị akọzie n'uju n'ubi onye anyị bịara na nke ya.
Ịgbamụrụ nzem ọzọ kedụkosi aga ya gaziere onye ukwu ma gaziere onye nta.
Mkparịta ụka tọrọ atọ ka anyị ga-ewetara gị bụkwa nke ga-eme ka ịmata ka ihe si aga n'ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa ọbụladị na mba ofesi. Oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television ga na-abịara gị site n'ụbọchị Mọnde ruo Fraịde na SLTV Channel 264. Ekwekwala ka akọrọ gị ya akọrọ. Chetakwa na ọ bụ na SLTV Channel 264 ka ị ga-ekiri Voice of the People Television. Voice of the People Television, ugbu a ị nwere karịa olu.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing
Well, thanks for joining us again. Now, let's get into the conversation. Elder statesman and senior PDP chieftain, Bode George, has fiercely criticized former Vice President Atiku Abubakar over his renewed presidential ambition, branding it irresponsible and greedy. In a recent interview, George questioned why Atiku, who will be 81 by 2027, is still pursuing the presidency instead of stepping aside for younger leaders or taking a secondary role. He also faulted Atiku's inability to resolve internal party crisis, arguing that it raises doubts about his capacity to govern Nigeria effectively. Well, George further condemned Atiku's reported decision to exit the party over disagreements regarding the 2027 presidential ticket, describing the move as selfish and damaging to PDP's unity. Meanwhile, the PDP has confirmed ongoing efforts to woo back Peter Obi, the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, into its fold. Now, Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi described Obi as a highly valuable political asset whose return would significantly boost the party's electoral chances. In a related development, the party is also taking disciplinary action, or saying that they will take disciplinary action against the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. Abdullahi revealed that a committee has been set up to investigate allegations of anti-party activities, a move that could ultimately lead to Wike's expulsion from the PDP. Oh well, I have a guest in the studio chuckling already, like that's not going to happen. Well, let's hear from them. We have Barrister Darlington Agumwo, who is a political analyst. And also, we have with us in the studio Nonso Emecheta, human rights activist, scholar, social crusader, and a philosopher. And joining us from Port Harcourt is Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama, a social political commentator and an advocate of good governance. Well, three gentlemen joining us today on this show. So, good morning once again, gentlemen. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure.
Now, let's establish contact with our Port Harcourt studio. All right, so we will establish contact when he joins us. Well, Barrister Darlington,
yes.
Let me start off with you on this one now. Let's start from the bottom up. You know, from the bottom of the conversation all the way and work our way up. The person of Nyesom Wike and his hold on the PDP, and of course, what we've seen play out in the PDP. There seem to be, some have alluded to the fact that Wike's influence has affected the party negatively, and also it's making it has elaborated some sort of disunity within the party that has made a lot of people defect. Right now, we are having, there are talks that Governor Ademola Adeleke is planning to defect from the PDP to the APC, as you know, citing a meeting he had earlier in the year with the president. Now, with all of this and all the defections that we've seen, from governors, Umar and the rest of them that have left PDP for the APC, and still Wike holds sway in the PDP. Do you think those in the PDP now, Sheyi Makinde and the rest of them, Abdullahi, have what it takes to suspend or expel Wike from the party?
They cannot.
That's quite straightforward.
Yes, they cannot, because if they can, they would have done it long ago. I mean, I don't know why, but they judge as a statesman, as an elder who claimed to love PDP. I don't know why his kind are in PDP and they allow this arrogance from Wike to continue for this long. But the judge was part of Wike. When he was hobnobbing with Wike, what was he thinking? This same man, he has said a lot of things that is very contradictory. At a point, he said that Tinubu should remain there for 8 years. At a point, he said PDP should do this or do that. We don't know where he stands. Why is he talking about Atiku and his age?
Okay, I would have loved for us to leave the messenger and focus on the message itself.
Yes, the message is part of the messenger, because when a man is not consistent with his principle, how can I begin to listen to him? This thing he said now, is it consistent with what he was doing with Wike in the past? Is that not what?
You don't think he might have changed his mind, seeing how the party...
It was too late for him to change. That's the truth, because the damage has been done. If they have removed Wike long ago, maybe this Anyanwu problem would have been resolved long ago. But the judge was there when Wike was, behaving like... I remember when the BOT said they are going to hold a meeting and all that to remove Wike or whatever. Did it happen? So if people like Bode George have stood their ground, maybe things wouldn't have gotten this bad. So on what ground will he come now and be blaming Atiku?
Okay.
Atiku was bringing money to that party. Some of the things they have done of recent, it was financed by Atiku. So if you are condemning his age,
okay. All right, Barrister, when you talk about Atiku bringing money, before I get to that, let me ask you, is it proper, will it be morally right, for anybody to blame Wike for the stronghold that he has on the PDP? Let's go back in history and recall that after they lost the election in 2015, I mean, everybody left the party. Nobody wanted to touch it with a long pole. Atiku took off to Dubai and he stayed there. Atiku only came back, Meanwhile, yes, Atiku only came back, when it was time for election. And Wike was the person that, more like the sole financier of the PDP for the whole of, 8 years up until 2023, when Atiku came, brought money, and took the ticket again in 2022. So will it be morally right for anybody to blame Wike, for being in control of the party that he more like sustained for over 8 years? No, so, I'm just asking.
No, it is very, very morally wrong for him to have even done what he did. Mr. Okoro, so are you telling me now that because you paid your children's school fees, you gave them feeding allowance and all that, so when these children grow up that they're supposed to be on that, we now say, look, you are going to do what I tell you.
No, Barrister, I'm not sure that analogy fits. This is politics. What is politics? Politics essentially means the struggle for power. And now, this is a man that invested in that party.
Listen, he invested in that party with the leverage he got from PDP. It was PDP that made Wike.
Good, beautiful.
Yes, PDP made Wike. So why would you not buy the finger that fed you?
Or the finger that you fed? Trying to bite you?
No. They fed him first.
Okay. And he in turn fed the party.
If he didn't get that platform, he wouldn't have done what he did in River State with their money. And the matter of fact, that's not even Wike's money. I hope you know that. It's not Wike's money, please. It is River State people's money that he hijacked.
But the bottom line is he could have allowed the party to die. But he decided not to. But he could have.
Hold on. There's no way the party would have died.
Why not?
It's because he hijacked the structures. He hijacked the culture and made other people look irrelevant. That was why they even left it for him. It's not as if he did anything fantastic. Oh. He didn't do anything fantastic. It's just that he was pursuing selfish interests. That's why he did not allow anybody to play any role. And we can see it now.
All right.
We can see it now.
So let me come to you now. Wike, before he became part of the administration of part of the Tinubu administration, he said categorically that he got the go-ahead from his party members. And nobody has come out to say, no, they didn't give him that approval. So why are they now talking about expulsion?
Thank you. You know, party, Wike has actually destroyed the PDP because telling us that he got the go-ahead before he joined the APC. It's an anti-party move.
But did he not get the go-ahead?
Who gave him the go-ahead?
The neck.
Yes, the neck of the party.
To destroy his party.
The neck now gave him that PDP. No.
But they haven't come out to say no, we did not.
Nobody has the bomb that's
if the neck actually authorized him to join the APC, that means the neck actually...
To serve under the APC, not to join the APC.
There's no how you can serve 2 masters at a time.
No, you can't.
In a political party, you are a minister in APC and you are saying you are in the PDP. That is double standard.
I'm sorry, no. So we had a Chuka Odom, my old boy, who served as Minister of State for the FCT.
Okay.
He was in PPA, but serving in the PDP government.
But it's not
because the PPA allowed him to go and serve, just like the PDP allowed the Wike to go serve in APC.
PPA was part of PDP.
No, PPA was not. It was a standalone political party.
Well, what did they do in the election?
I mean, they won an election in Abia State. Have you forgotten?
You remember that they came together. They came together.
They even won an election in Imo State. Ikedi or Hakim, your state.
They came together. But that's not... These people didn't do half of what Wike did in PDP.
No. We're not talking about what he did. We're talking about the approval that was given to him that has not been debunked. Now they are talking about expulsion.
He said he wants to go and work with APC. That they asked him to come and work with APC.
And they said go ahead.
Good. When I said you should go ahead, did I say you should go and commit suicide?
No, but they said go ahead.
Because you are committing political suicide now. As I talk to you now, Wike is partyless too. I hope you know.
So the truth of the
Wike is partyless and they want to expel him from the PDP.
Yes,
the PDP, the party that is in his hands.
If I were a PDP, I wouldn't even bother with him.
Now let's x-ray another angle to the conversation. So I'd like to start off with you.
Okay.
Now the PDP, some chieftain of the PDP saying that look, we want to find a way to woo Peter Obi back into our fold because we know that he has value. And, you know, with a Wike still within the party, I mean, all of this is still talk. He has not been expelled. Yeah. If he's still within the party, and we know what has become of the PDP, the division within the PDP has affected a lot of governors who are seeking re-election. A lot of them have defected. And that in itself, you will agree with me, has whittled down the powers that the PDP has. So do you think Peter Obi should be considering going back to the PDP? Will that be a platform for him to run under, seeing that the PDP has name?
First and foremost, is actually for me, I don't think it makes any sense. Because now they are now identifying the fact that Peter Obi has values. The same Peter Obi came in 2023. They did not identify that value and give him the ticket. They allowed Atiku to use dollars to collect the tickets. If actually PDP, they are serious about bringing Obi as a man of integrity, that they have now identified because of his, the way his popularity, public traction, and national acceptability. They saw what happened in 2023. The same Peter Obi that left them, that came begging, give me this ticket. They denied him of the ticket and gave it to Atiku. They didn't see the values then. Now that Peter Obi went to the polls, proved his mettle without even having a local government chairman or even a ward councillor in Labour Party. And he pulled over 6.1 million or thereabouts.
Now, with everything we see playing out in the nation right now, with the opposition that we see playing out, don't you think Peter Obi needs a strong party, a party with more, a party that is more locally grounded, with more states to fight in 2027? Will the PDP be a viable party for him?
PDP is gone, sir. PDP
Should he still run under the Labour, under the LP?
Anywhere he goes, the obedient movement, we are going to follow him. Even if it's just, he's just.
But unfortunately, the obedient movement is not a political party.
No, it's a movement. That movement
yes,
does not align with anybody.
So my point is, he needs a political party to run under. If ADC gives its ticket to Atiku, who has indicated interest to run in 2027, where then would that leave Peter Obi? Because we see that even the obedient movement is pleading with Atiku to allow Obi get the ticket, basically pleading. Yeah. Because they know that Atiku might grab it in his usual way.
You know why we are pleading? It's very simple.
Why?
Now we have more of national spread in the leadership of the coalition party. If Obi gets the ADC ticket,
why are you pleading? Why not just let the primaries take place and then show your...
You already know the outcome of the primaries.
You already know the outcome.
It has been, Atiku has been consistent, he's desperate.
Okay, now, so the question is, what if Obi doesn't get the ADC ticket? What happens to him?
If Obi goes to birthday party, if there's any party that is called birthday party, Nigerians will vote for him. It's not all about party anymore. I want Nigerians to understand the fact that because of the moral rectitude, the character and the integrity, the pedigree of this young man, nobody is talking about party anymore.
Okay, now let's take this conversation to Port Harcourt, where we have Dr. Emmanuel Irienema joining us. Good morning, Dr. Emmanuel, and thanks for being part of this conversation. Doctor, you might need to unmute your mic so that we can get your audio feed. Hello, Dr. Irienema, are you there? Okay, I will go back to him when we're able to establish his audio feed. So let's stay in the studio here. But Barrister, with what you understand happening in the PDP, I'd like for us to go back to the issue of Wike. Now, the party is saying they set up a committee, to try errant people, and Wike's name happens to be one of the names involved. And the deputy national secretary of the party, one Abdullah Ibrahim, said, look, we have considered all of those, and in the next few days and all of that, we might have to expel Wike and all of that. Barrister, from what you understand within the PDP, had not been in the PDP, do you think that PDP can expel Nyesom Wike from that party? He's in control of the NEC, he's in control of the NWC. The only place that he seems to have problems is the board of trustees, which, by the way, is just advisory. They don't have any executive powers within the party.
This is why I told you that they woke up late from their slumber. This matter of Wike would have been settled long ago when the man was even boasting that he dare anybody to expel him. That was a direct affront. Yet, nobody replied him. So what are they coming to expel him
So
now?
Barrister, now the question is, do you think that they can expel him?
I just told you no.
Okay.
They can't, because on what basis would they even do that now? If they even do it, will he have water? Will he have any weight? Will he carry any relevance? Because his master in Abuja is behind him.
Okay, now what happens to the PDP if Wike remains there? Atiku has left. Makinde and Bala Mohammed are struggling for the party ticket. And Wike is saying, look, we don't want to repeat the mistake of 2023. So automatically, I'm rooting for the party coming down south. Now you have the PDP have its ticket in the south. APC taken for granted, first offer of refusal. The president has it in the south. And the Peter Obi, even if he goes to birthday party APC, a birthday party like Nonso said, he clinches the ticket. Now we have 3 people in the south contesting, and Ekwakwanso comes up with NNPP in the north. What happens? Are you able to crystallize what will happen in 2027?
Yes, it is obvious that some of them may be working for Tinubu, APC. And the first person that has come to my mind is Wike. Wike wants it down south so that he can now claim the ticket in PDP.
For himself?
Yes, for himself.
Okay. So that means he intends to run.
Sorry?
That means he intends to run against his master now.
Of course, because I don't see how Tinubu can just let him go.
But he also said he wasn't going to run against Tinubu in 2027.
Well, look, when politicians talk, Mr. Okoro, don't go to bank with it. That check will bounce.
So what do you think will play out if he gets the ticket and he runs in 2027 for the presidential slot, with Tinubu also running for re-election in the APC? What do you think will happen? So we have a Tinubu in the APC, we have possibly a Wike in the PDP, and probably also an Atiku in the ADC, and probably
I'd like for you to add a Peter Obi. So you have 3 Southern candidates, 3 Southern candidates
in the Labour Party,
and Kwakwanso, doesn't take he takes the NMPP. I mean, Kano is his forte.
He may not even contest.
He may not even contest. And Atiku takes ADC with all the big wigs in ADC now, on both divides, north and south. What happens to the South in the Southern presidency in 2027?
It is obvious that PDP may not make a strong showing in the election.
Would that be intentional?
Sorry?
Do you think that would be intentional?
It will not be intentional because they are weak now. Financially, they are weak. There's no money back there that can, face the incumbent. That one is obvious. And then Wike is not ready to spend any money against his master in Abuja. So whatever.
But Barrister, I'm happy that you came back to the issue of Wike spending money. So practically, he's been the one funding PDP. So shouldn't he be the one to do? Like they say, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So shouldn't he? What he is doing, is it politically wrong? What Wike is doing politically is
I
wrong?
told you, it was a political suicide that has boomerang now.
In favor of who or against who?
He did all those things in favor of Tinubu. He told us that he will not run against him. He said it, that he will not run against Tinubu.
No. So Wike started planning for Tinubu in 2015 when he started funding the party solely.
No. He never knew that things would turn out this way.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a historical fortune for him.
Yes.
That it turned out this way.
In fact, it was a misstep. The way he planned it, everybody was praising him, but he never knew that he walked into this cul-de-sac now. Like as I'm talking to you now, where is Wike? Is he in APC or is he in PDP?
He's minister of the FCT, and if the president wins again, he remains the minister of the FCT.
Oh, if he wins again.
Right?
Now, on what basis now will you allow him to come to PDP and be working against his own party? Tinubu have told him that they're expecting him in APC. Has he come over to APC? The answer is no. So he's waiting at the last minute when he has finished the hatchet job he's doing in PDP. He will now defect to APC.
Barrister, why does Wike need to go to the APC? He doesn't need. He's in control of the PDP. He's serving in an APC government as a juicy ministry for that matter.
Look, officially he's not in APC. If he's in APC, Tinubu will not be telling him to come over.
No. What I mean is, of what use is him moving over to the APC? He's already a minister in an APC government. So why must he move over to APC?
Because officially they don't know him as a APC member.
What do they need to do? They need to know him. Of what value is knowing him? He's serving in government.
No. Because one, as an APC person, as a PDP man working for APC, he is not officially recognized because right now.
Does he need that recognition?
Sorry?
Does he need recognition?
Of course.
What is it doing? What's the value of that recognition?
For electoral purpose, yes. For electoral purpose. Yes, you have to be in a party for contest under that party or do further electoral activities on that party. Are you getting me? So Wike is no longer recognized in APC because he's not a registered member.
In APC?
Yes, in APC.
All right. So you agree with some that have said if he decides to join the APC, people will work against him?
Already PDP must be working against him.
No, I mean APC now.
If he goes to APC,
if he decides to join the APC, some members of the APC, there are speculations that if he comes to APC, some people within the APC that are not happy with him will work against him.
And that is what even Tinubu is thinking about. If a Wike comes in there and begin to argue for position and all that, it will be very difficult because which position will accommodate Wike in APC? Which position? Will you contest as a governor again? The answer is no. You'll be looking
Barrister, I'm happy that you have come back to that my proposition.
Yes.
What does he need the APC for? If it works for him, I'm sorry, if it works for him that Tinubu does 27 to 31, by understanding, the power goes back to the north. So when Wike contends to become governor from the north or what? He's done and dusted. He doesn't need the APC anymore.
But he cannot be in PDP and be working against APC that are giving him relevance.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
All right,
now.
Then. Now, so let me come to you now.
Does not have any place to go to. That's why, if you remember, he's sober now. He's sober.
Okay. All right then. Now, so let's have your summation of what we have been discussing, and also I'd like a quick response to the answer. Do you think, like some have alluded, that the PDP is dead?
PDP is not only dead but buried. That is the truth. In fact, Wike has single-handedly supervised over the funeral of PDP. Look at the political heavyweights in PDP, they've all left. Now they are talking about wooing Peter Obi back to a party that is now the ghost of its former self. He has used...
some traditional members in the PDP, like Chief Bode George and some other members, have said, look, we are not leaving the PDP, we will stay and revive the PDP.
Force. Baba is just a statesman.
He's not the only one. There are some others.
So there's nobody in the PDP as we speak. PDP is dead. You see the Samuel Anyanwu? I saw Ikenga shouting and begging. Wike should be expelled. Ikenga will go chinye. That this guy has destroyed the party. And nobody listened to him. Nobody heard him out. He was shouting, let this guy go. He will destroy this party. But they wouldn't listen. Now it has dawned on them. That's why you see them saying, Obi coming back. To come and do what in a ghost party? A party that is dead already? There is no PDP anymore. That's why you see them saying, Obi, they want to give you ticket to come and do what? If Obi goes back to PDP, nobody will go with him because PDP is dead.
Oh, I thought you said the obedient movement will go with him anyway.
No, the movement will go with... I used it. I didn't mention any party. I said even if he's a better... But I can tell you...
So what if he goes back to the PDP?
If he goes back to the PDP, there's no problem. We can vote for him. But what I'm telling you is that the party is dead.
You don't sound firm in that response.
No. The party is dead. You know why I'm saying that? You don't know why we might even object to him going to PDPs. We don't know whether they want to use Wike again to destroy Obi because of his popularity.
Okay, sorry.
So it's a problem for us.
Okay, sorry. No, so
yes.
Assuming
yes.
PDP succeeds in expelling Wike.
Yes.
So his influence is off.
It's off, yes.
You know, and now Peter Obi goes back to the PDP. Is he able to revive the party with his presence?
Peter Obi carries values. But the thing is that we are not sure if we can, the caliber of people, if Wike leaves, we are not sure of the caliber because of what they have done to that party by being in APC, being a minister, and still remaining in the party.
So whether Wike is there or not,
yes,
you and the obedient movement may not support him going back, or will not support him going back.
Yes, because
you will not.
Yes, that is the fact. Because of the fact that Wike is a problem. Wike
so even if Wike leaves, that's what I'm saying.
If Wike leaves, for instance,
yes,
that decision is for Obi to take.
Okay.
It's not for me to take.
You seem like you still will not support him anyway. All right then. Well, let's get into another conversation. We are investigating 18 sitting governors for financial crimes. This is coming from Ola Olukoyede, the chairman of the EFCC. Let's x-ray this. 18 governors. Well, let's talk about this when we come back. Join us again.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has revealed that 18 sitting Nigerian governors are currently under investigation for various financial misconducts. Speaking at a public awareness event in Lagos focused on Naira abuse, Olukoyede clarified that the agency does not wait until officials leave office to begin investigations. However, some legal actions can only proceed once they leave office due to constitutional protections. Olukoyede also shared a bizarre story of a former governor who fled to the UK after his tenure to avoid arrest. At a luxury birthday party in London, the ex-governor reportedly sprayed £10 and £50 notes, alarming hotel staff who called emergency services fearing a mental health crisis. Well, the situation was resolved after two fellow Nigerian governors explained his actions to the British police. Well, we still have in the studio here with us Mr. Nonso Emejita, human rights activist and scholar, social crusader, and philosopher. Mr. Emejita, thanks for staying with us. Okay, we'll also be joined virtually by Mr. Felix Pascal Pulevo. He's a political affairs analyst. Mr. Pulevo, are you there with us? Have you joined us?
We seem to have some connection there.
Okay, some connection.
Yes, let's.
Okay, let's stay.
We
in
do
the
hope that
studio
we'll be able to hear him better in the course of the program.
All right, Nonso, you heard the EFCC hemsman Olukoyede say, "Look, 18 governors are under investigation." What do you make out of that revelation, given the fact that we have governors who have served out their terms and the EFCC is unable to do anything, to bring them to book, to prosecute them? A case in point is that of Yaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State, who is more like, at a point, he became a fugitive running away from the law. You understand what happened between him and EFCC. I came, I didn't see anybody, we didn't see you, and all of that. And when he left, they went to arrest him in the night. So of what value is the information that, look, we are investigating 18 sitting governors? We've had more than 30 governors, more than that, We've had more than 100 governors served, out their terms in the past 26 years. Many of them are holidaying in the Senate as we speak. Many of them are in the Senate undergoing prosecution by the EFCC. The EFCC hasn't done anything, and what we get from the hemsman of the anti-graft agency is, look, 18 sitting governors are under investigation. Of what value is that information to the average Nigerian?
Yeah, for me, I think the EFCC boss is just trying to show that he's working. He just wants to show that his office is actually working, because that information is valueless to Nigerians, given the fact that even the ones without immunity, we saw the former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, immediately he handed over to Professor Soludo. He left the country. And he has been associated with financial misappropriation while in office. Up till now, the man has been having fun, enjoying himself in the UK with his family. These are people that have left office. We are now talking about somebody that has a governor's immunity. So for me, that information, because going by the antecedent of the EFCC in this country, the moment they after you and you give them something, they will leave you and all that. They have not been able to follow any anti-graft, case to the latter. So this information that he's just giving us, are we supposed to applaud him? What have they done to those people with financial misappropriation in this country in the past? Now he wants to tell us that 18 governors are on the radar. of the EFCC. Now, is he telling us that we should now be waiting for them since they have immunity? Then after they've left office, he will now go after them. So
what does this even speak to the fact that we have that large number, 18,
yes,
being investigated? Doesn't this point to the fact, and what impact would this have, from the international community? Doesn't this point to the fact that a lot of governors might be doing things that are not appropriate, especially with funds?
Yes. It boils down to the fact that our leaders in Nigeria, what they go into office is to embezzle and loot our collective patrimony. The money that was supposed to use for the people, for the poor masses, the people that they are serving. What they do is to connect the economic conduit pipe and start siphoning the money. So they have already battered the image of the nation. Our international image has been battered because people are watching a sitting 18. Even I can tell you that there are more than that. Maybe these are the ones that he has been able to outline, but telling us that go after them. And another problem I have is this issue of immunity. Why should somebody be in power? And this guy, the person has been identified as, he has been embezzling public funds. He has anti-graft cases against him. And you said the person has immunity.
Okay, now what should we be blaming the chairman of EFCC, or should we blame EFCC for relative inaction? When we saw the example that my colleague cited, where the governor left office, but they couldn't even arrest the governor because he was protected by a sitting governor. And right after that, we saw Yahaya Bello attending PDP governors, attending the forum, I beg your pardon, in the APC forum in Abuja. So should we be blaming EFCC, or is there a bigger problem, especially from the executive, that tend to shield certain individuals?
You blame EFCC because the job is not to protect the system. You have systemic failure. But if the job of the EFCC is to probe people who have been involved in financial crimes commission, the EFCC should go after any system that wants, present itself as an impediment to the actualization of that goal. So the EFCC boss should go after anybody, regardless of if the political godfather in the state is the one shielding the person. Go after the person too, until you get the result. Nigerians will want you to work. They did not employ him to be looking at a system that is an encumbrance from them for them to actualize their goal. So it is the job of the EFCC. But the EFCC is even compromised. The EFCC, I'm not seeing them do this job the way it ought to be done. Because of the corruption in the system. There's a systemic and endemic corruption in this country. That is why you see them, some of them, they are rich. These guys are rich. If you see the EFCC, most of them, they are living luxurious lifestyle, flamboyant lifestyle. Where are they making the money? The moment they see that this governor has embezzled money, instead of going after them, the governor will call them, tell them, you know what, this is your court. That is the problem we have in this country. So the EFCC should be held accountable. If, for instance, I was a former governor, and I embezzled money. The moment I left office, and my political godfather is one shielding me, go after two of us, because that means the financial crime commission is in connection with the old and the new, or the outgoing. Two of us should be arrested.
All right. No, so we all understand what the problem is. Let's look for solution, prescription.
Yes.
If you were asked, like I'm asking you now, what exactly will you want the EFCC, how do you think they should go about fighting this war? Bearing in mind that it's an executive position, and the person that appointed or that appoints the helmsman of the EFCC is the executive president. Now, a situation where you even have the president himself having question marks on some of his wealth and all of that and everything around him, do you think, what prescriptions will you make for the EFCC to be able to? I mean, we are talking about corruption fighting back, like we have seen in many instances. Talk of NNPCL, the oil sector, to the point that, one of the biggest fighters, operators in the industry, said that, look, that the cabal within the oil industry is even stronger than what we have in the drug industry. So, absolutely. What do you think, what steps, what measures should we as a people, as a government, as a nation take to ensure that we have that will to fight corruption and succeed?
It's very simple.
Okay.
The appointment of the EFCC chairman or boss shouldn't be an exclusive preserve of the sitting president. There should be the same way we used to talk about independence of the judiciary. Okay. We should have independence of the EFCC. They should be detached from the presidency. The same thing is applicable to INEC chairmanship. Why is it? How do you think that I will bring somebody who is my brother as the INEC chairman, and you expect him not to rig the election in my favor? So there should be independence of the EFCC. The EFCC should not be answerable. They should not be loyal or
okay,
affiliated.
they shouldn't be, but they are.
Yes, they are.
But they are.
They are.
So what is the solution?
The solution is to create a separate body for the EFCC, not from the presidency. Yes.
A separate body from the EFCC.
Yes. I'm talking about in terms of appointment.
Okay.
There should be a body detached from the presidency in terms of appointment. That we scrutinize.
So what would be the responsibility of that body?
The responsibility of that body is to be apolitical. The responsibility of that body
is to do what? To make appointments?
No, not to make appointments. Okay. I'm talking about creating EFCC separate from, being answerable to the presidency.
I don't get it. Yes. You want another anti-graft agency?
We have ICPC.
We have ICPC.
We have. They should come under the same umbrella.
Okay.
They should merge. They are anti-graft.
Okay.
When they merge together under an umbrella, they can create anything for them. But this is their own separate office.
So who will create?
The government will create that.
The same executive that we are running away from
should authorize them to have a separate body, because they cannot do it on their own. It's Nigerians that will come and clamor for it. That, you know what? Since we have been having series of issues of, anti-graft issues and is not pursued to the letter, let us, call for a kind of recalibration of the anti-graft agency. Let them be under a body in such a way that the selection is not an exclusive preserve of the presidency. It's the body themselves that would be appointing whoever would be the chairman of the ICPC and the EFCC. So
I want us to go back to it because I want for clarity. Now, this body, who appoints this body?
No, this can come as an act of parliament. They can make a law. The National Assembly is there. That, you know what? Okay. The National Assembly is there. You know what? Since Nigerians are clamoring for independence of the anti-graft agencies, let us enact a law and allow them a free reign. Let them do their own things. And I know that it will suffer setback because of the fact that these same people too are equally corrupt. They are equally corrupt. It will suffer a setback, but it takes, a responsive and a responsible National Assembly to say that, you know what, we need people that will be independent. Even the INEC we are talking about should have something similar, creation, so that when they are working, that, what, we are not answerable to you, sir. The president will call them and they will tell the president, sir, you know what, this is our job. We are independent. Let us do the job the way it ought to be done. And by so doing, we'll have a better country.
All right, then. Let's see if we can reconnect with Pulevo in Port Harcourt. Good morning to you once again. All right, so we don't have... Now, let's talk about the prosecution of cases. Now, we've seen some governors have left office and they've had cases have been prosecuted, but the cases have taken forever. Prosecution has taken forever. One case in point is Governor Fayose, former governor of Ekiti State. His case has been on, 6.9 billion naira, has been on for more than 8 years now, or 7 years about. Has been on for a long time. Shouldn't we create a system whereby cases, especially financial crimes, are adjudicated upon speedily and done and dusted with? If there is culpability, these individuals do time, and that's it.
Yeah.
What should be done?
Well, I think expedited hearing should be the panacea. Why am I saying this? Nigerian judicial system have a whole lot of judicial, or what I may call legal bottlenecks. And this is systemic. Sometimes they do it on purpose because of the fact that some of them have interest. There should be a situation whereby if a case, is over a year. It shouldn't be. It should have a time frame of 1 year maximum for that case to be given hearing and concluded. Now, adjournment, even the one, look at it now, the kind of adjournment. Why is it that we cannot work, in such a way that there will be expeditious and expedited hearing in all the cases? Okay. So for me, I think there should be a kind of time frame.
All right. The EFCC is also pushing for a bill that will ensure that individuals, Nigerians that have made monies that are not explainable, explain the source of their wealth. That takes away the burden to prove financial crimes takes away the burden from the EFCC, places it on the individual now. Okay. So an individual that has amassed so much wealth, without there being a case against you, you just have to prove the fact that your source of wealth.
Yeah.
Do you see that seeing the light of day?
It will not see the light of the day.
Why? You don't seem to have faith.
No having faith. How can somebody who is a criminal, be submitting himself?
How do you mean?
It's not possible. For me, we still need the anti-graft. The problem we have is that we have not gotten it right.
No. It's the anti-graft agencies will be there.
Yes.
But then the burden to prove crime.
Yes.
Because, even if a governor or anybody commits a crime, it will take somebody citing or pointing to the fact that monies have been missing. Okay. There's been misappropriation before investigation can commence. And when investigation commences, you will need to prove. The person can say, look, I earned this money doing one thing or the other. So it's up to you to prove that there was crime here. Now, the EFCC is asking that the burden to prove be taken from the EFCC or from the anti-graft agencies and placed on the individual. In other crimes, you can't have there's a benchmark of money you should have in your account, and if it exceeds that, in fact, your account they will freeze your account for you to now come and explain the source of that money. Yeah. That's what happens in some other crimes. Yeah. So that bill to ensure that the burden to prove source of wealth is taken away from the EFCC, the anti-graft agencies, and placed on the individuals. Will that see the light of day? And also, will that help curb the issue of corruption in Nigeria?
Well, it's actually a good one, actually. I need to commend that. It's actually a good one, bringing it to the individual, proving that, this money came from here. But when you present those, there is need for verification. When you say that this money, I earned it from here, this money, I earned it from here. So it equally boils down to working with the banks as well, because the banks, they have a role to play in terms of, the bank information statement and transaction of the person in question, so that the bank will equally help in this anti-graft war. So it's actually a good one, but I don't think it will see the light of the day. I'm pessimistic about it in the sense that when an individual, it takes a person of a proven integrity to come out and tell you that, this is how it is. We still need the EFCC to put an eye on them.
All right, so Honorable Pulevo, good to have you join the conversation. Good morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Good morning. Sorry, I had a network glitch.
We do understand. We understand.
Yeah.
Taraba is one of the states that's been mentioned, to have heavy rainfall. So it probably could be the rains that is affecting the network.
Surely, we had a lot of that yesterday.
All right then. Well, good to have you on the show. Now, talking about the conversation, 18 governors currently being investigated, and also going by what's been happening so far, how investigations have panned out. Some of these cases for governors that have left office, some of them, some that are being investigated, the cases have taken forever. And some are not being investigated again. I mean, the issue of Yahya Bello, where the chairman of EFCC said, if I'm not able to, prosecute him, I will resign. I mean, those were his words, but we've not seen the prosecution take place. What's your take? Give us a broad overview of what you think about all of it.
All right, thank you very much. For me, a caption like this is one of the reasons why the war against corruption in Nigeria has been failing. Because you don't tell your enemy or people that somebody you want to fight, that I am coming after you tomorrow, be rest assured that that person is definitely going to prepare and avert anything that you are coming with. So what EFCC is doing at the moment, we know by virtue of the constitution that governs and regulates our activities in this country, governors enjoy immunity from prosecution while in office. So EFCC has been having this challenge over time of losing cases, beautiful cases that they are supposed to win, and it's supposed to be a good omen for us in the cause of fighting corruption because of lack of in-depth investigation and evidences. So you will find out that they go about making a lot of media paparazzi, before they even gather a lot of evidence. And then the guys in question will now go use the resources they have, packed and Hamas wrongly, and now use that money to quash some of the evidences that EFCC would have had and prosecuted them. So if you have these 18 governors, continue doing your underground work. We don't want you to be telling us about the process. Let us just see the results. Just give us the results. Let the results be there. So nobody is telling you that you're not doing anything. And by this propaganda you are putting up, you are trying to tell Nigerians that you're into something, and eventually, if at the end of the day, probably when these guys are out of office, and then we don't see any, just like they have been looking.
But what do you make of some governors who are still serving and have already gone to court to get injunction to prevent the EFCC from coming after them when they leave office?
No, that is crazy, because it doesn't have a place. You cannot. There shouldn't be any court of law as far as the constitution that we have today is concerned that should shield you perpetually from being investigated. Okay. Where is that done?
It's done. It's done in this country. We had one. Peter Obi got one. Perpetual injunction restraining any court from trying him on case of misappropriation of River State funds. It happened. It's still valid as we speak. There's a sitting governor, as we know, who also went to court and said, look, EFCC, when I leave office...
Actually, the person is Governor of Sanwo-Olu.
Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State went to court and said, look, EFCC, court, grant me an injunction that by the time I step down in 2027, that EFCC wouldn't come after me. It's happening in this country.
No, now there are two issues there, sirs. If, for example, EFCC has come after me that I stole cars belonging to Taraba State government, and I go to court and get an injunction that I shouldn't be prosecuted on that because they don't have evidence, I think is also different from going to court and saying I should not be tried on any matter completely. Like I am so special against the constitution of the country, and I shouldn't be tried. Like I'm just a saint. I've not done anything wrong.
Okay, now, I'm sorry, Honorable, we are questioning home. I understand your position, but our position here, what we are saying is that these things have happened. We cited two instances, one in River State, Peter Obi, one in Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, still serving. Yeah. Now, let's get out of that and still remain within the issue of the anti-graft, the fight against corruption. Now, we all understand the problem. You said we need results from the EFCC, from the anti-graft agency. How do we get those results? What is lacking? What are the impediments? What do you think is the problem? And how do we get out of that hole? Let's also look at the will, of this administration, and in particular of the APC to fight corruption. We had a former president, Muhammadu Buhari, may God rest his soul, who came on the crest of, I'm going to fight corruption, Mr. Integrity and all of that. And for 8 years, we saw what went down. And again, in the past 2 years, have we seen any significant improvement in the fight against corruption since this administration came into office? We are looking for results. How do we get all of those?
Candidly, one of the major impediments that have been hindering us from getting the results we so desire is the fact that EFCC is acting like one politician or one political party. Sadly enough. Have you heard some of these anti-graft agencies in the West that are bringing a lot of results, always parading their methods and methodology of, investigations on the media? EFCC is supposed to be doing a lot of underground work, but they do a lot of talking. I think that is one strong impediment. They talk a lot. They shouldn't be talking a lot, because in the course of talking, even if the media guys are on you, you can be like, we are working on it, and just watch out for the results. The EFCC does a lot of talking, which gives a lot of hints to these guys. Don't forget, for somebody to steal these billions, he's already sophisticated and he has a lot of connections. So even the talking boils within even the agency, so much so that even within the EFCC, some of these guys have their voice and they will begin to know. So EFCC must be able to be as confidential as possible in trying to see that important information regarding certain individuals in the country, so much so that we can have a system where if I can be a staff of the agency and yet not even know of certain details about certain individuals that are being prosecuted. And that would be a good step for us towards ensuring that we get out of this mess that we are into at the moment. Secondly, we have really not done enough. EFCC has not done enough. That's the truth. So much so that sometimes when this propaganda are coming up, they are supposed to just put their heads down in shame. We've not seen the resignations that people will be making noise, I will resign. They've not done it. People are not prosecuted. People are moving more free than even those who are supposed to be free.
When you say people are not prosecuted, I'm sorry to interrupt you at this point. We have seen some people that are being prosecuted. One of them is Godwin Emefiele. He's been prosecuted, isn't he? Another is former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose. He's also being prosecuted.
What are the results? Have they been convicted? Or is it going to take to perpetuity before we get the convictions?
Now, the question now should be, why haven't we gotten convictions or at least judgment in these cases that seem to have lasted way too long?
Excellent.
Is that the fault of the EFCC?
It is.
It is?
It is because, for example, you would find a situation whereby, like even in the Emefiele syndrome, most of the approach of EFCC seems to be more political than professional. So much so that you see EFCC are just going, they are just like, they want the Nigerian people, let's just show them something. Do you know that sadly enough, sir, in EFCC, they give targets to their zonal offices? I'm on air and I'm saying this, and that is the reality. That is what is happening.
What exactly?
To prosecute people, and that is why most of the convictions are just Yahoo boys. Our innocent young brothers and sisters that are just into this business stuff, they just come and pack them. They have target that you must convict certain number of persons within a particular quarter. In this country, it's happening. There are zonal offices. And so you find out that because now they cannot go after the big guys, then much of their attention comes on these guys that are into Yahoo or cyber crimes. They now go deep down. You trace your account 10 years ago. These monies that came into your account. I had one funny conviction recently in Gombe. The money that came into his account was a proceed of crime. But the guy was sending the money to him for a legitimate transaction between the two of them. How am I supposed to know that the source of money? So it's more or less you guys now being arrested that the data I use, or I'm using now to be on air, was bought with stolen funds. How are you supposed to know? These are the issues. And these are some of the petty things that are happening, which is disheartening. When we have the men people packing billions of naira monies that are supposed to be used, to ensure the well-being and comfort of people in this country, monies that can take care of people in a state and looted by an individual, and all we hear is just media trial. We are here today, tomorrow they are there, we are dragging from this court to the other court, dragging whether you should be granted bail or not. For how long are we going to be doing this? EFCC, EFCC should just rise up to the occasion. Let us be more investigative. Let us have more evidences, more details before we even pronounce you, before we invite you to the office, before we begin to prosecute you. Let us have enough evidences.
All right.
Not that we just start, it is in the process of the trial that we want to get more evidences.
So are you now excited? I mean, happy that at least they are investigating now, so they can have evidences to present when these individuals leave office. Isn't that something to applaud the EFCC for?
Do not tell us you are investigating. Go and investigate.
Okay. All right then. This would be a good place to anchor this conversation as we move to another one. Gentlemen, we'd like you to stay with us as we look at ADC faults Tinubu over failed power promise, warns of 2027 consequences. Let's talk about this when we come back. Join us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP.
Well, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has slammed President Bola Tinubu for failing to deliver on his promise of uninterrupted power supply 2 years into his tenure. Now, the ADC spokesperson, Bolaji Abdullahi, noted that despite Tinubu's pledge to fix the power sector in 4 years, millions of Nigerians will still depend on generators, with electricity tariff up to 240% and 12 grid collapses recorded since he took office. Now, while presidential aide Bayo Onanuga claimed improved power in parts of Lagos, the ADC argues that such cases are isolated and do not reflect the nationwide reality. The party warned that Tinubu's broken promise will be a key issue in the 2027 election. Well, we still have with us Nonso Emecheta, and also we have from Taraba, Honorable Felix Pascal Pulevo. Well, this is the conversation, talking about failed promises and the rest. The ADC seems to be, picking up the role of an opposition party, a full opposition party. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, actually, when ADC, the coalition party, came together, we rejoiced. Nigerians rejoiced, despite the conversation around the people, the characters and all that. Because any country without opposition is like a dead country. Our polity was already at the verge of extinction because nobody to checkmate the ruling party. It's very important. So they are doing the right thing. We saw the president in a viral video saying that if he does not fix power within 2 years in office, that they should not vote for him if he comes back for a second term. And they are now calling him out that, you know what, you have failed already.
But is there a deeper problem in the power sector that has made it impossible for this administration, even the previous administration, to fix? Help us explain, help us understand what the deeper issues might be. Because we have a minister of power telling Nigerians that, look, government is paying subsidy, should take away subsidy to some extent, and then Nigerians will have to pay a certain amount of money.
Now, we should even have more power because now that subsidy has been removed, what is the president doing?
Subsidy has been removed for Band A customers.
Yes. The issue of national grid collapse is as a result of the fact that they have not been able to increase the megawatts. They should increase this power. That is why we are having periodic 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we have a national grid collapse and all that. So the president should equally make sure that a great deal of the subsidy, money should be reinvested into power. Nigerians are not getting power. Even the tariff is very high.
Okay,
Look at
we'll talk about the tariff.
Yes.
We'll talk about the tariff.
Yes.
And also, Honorable Pulevo, I would like us to talk about the tariff also. And as we know that currently, Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission have decided to reduce tariff for the company that is taking over the power distribution in that state for those within the state, reducing their tariff for Band A customers from 209 to 160 naira per kilowatt hour. But before we get into that conversation, let's take a listen. Let's watch this clip. Let's watch this clip and then we'll get back into the conversation.
It's necessary. You must have electricity, and you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me. That's the truth.
All right, then there you have it. Just before he came into office, you must have electricity, but we don't have electricity. So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is the failed promises as usual.
Okay, all right. Let me come to Honorable Pulevo now. You heard the president. We must have electricity. Don't vote for me. Before the president, before Tinubu came into office, Fashola said the same thing. How hard is it to give people electricity? But it was hard during his time with the Buhari administration, for that administration to give electricity. What's the problem?
Yeah, I have been laughing since the clip started playing. In fact, in line with how emphatic he was, with his words. If I don't, anyway, I think there he said, if I don't fulfill this promise, don't vote for me when I come back after 4 years, right? Yes. So we are midway into the game. And thanks to ADC that are being kind to him now by reminding him. So probably it will help him to sit up, because this is one thing, when he comes campaigning, we'll just be playing the clip for him and tell him, oh God, do you have any other thing to tell us? So I think ADC are being kind to him by reminding him that you said this.
But in the power sector, we've had the Minister of Power, Adelabu, talk about, the issues with transmission, the issues with the fact that some of these components are outdated and are not able to transmit from the generating companies, to transmit to the distribution companies. So that process, why do you think government hasn't been able to fix that process? Because sometimes we hear that the reason the grid collapses is because the GenCos are producing more than can be transmitted to the discos. And the load makes the grid to collapse.
In the area where I live, between September last year to January this year, we hadn't light. Our transformer went bad. And I was in the forefront of ensuring the restoration of electricity in that area. And as a result of that effort, I got to learn a lot about this, because we didn't just deal with them at the state office, we went to their regional office, and at some point, even to Lagos and Abuja offices to discuss. And I was able to get a lot of information. What happens is, the fundamental issue we're having here is just lack of political will. Indeed, most of those facilities are outdated. In fact, as I speak with you now, the government or some of these companies don't even have a true picture of the reality on ground. Me, I'm telling you in truth. there are certain places that they have some facilities that some regional officers don't even know. Okay. When we were in one of the regional offices, we spent 6 weeks in the Northeast, most recently. In the last 1 month, 1.5 months, close to 2 months now, we spent 6 weeks without light in 4 northeastern states.
Okay, all right, Honorable Pulevo, we are running out of time. This conversation will soon end. One question before we leave. Now, yes, the president said, if I don't give you power in 4 years, don't re-elect me. You watch the clip. Now, yes, the Minister of Power under Buhari also said the same thing. Let's move away from that, but still around promises, failed promises. We also saw this administration, in particular, the president, when Jonathan was in government, he said, look, if you are unable to, the buck stops at the president's table. Mr. President, if you cannot fight Boko Haram, please leave. Surrender, sure, just resign and leave. Now, that was during the Jonathan administration, and now the APC came in and stayed for 8 years. Instead of insecurity abating, the thing festered. It was left festering for 8 years. Plus the 2 years we have seen in this government. So in all of this, I would like for you to, what do you make of the APC as a political party? I want you to examine the promises they made, how far they have fulfilled those promises. And going forward, do you think that Nigerians should also listen to promises still made by the APC? I'd like for you to put your thoughts together and wrap it up with your concluding thoughts, because we are practically out of time.
Okay, in truth, just the way we normally make fun and say all promises cancelled, I think that is a reflection of what we've been getting in the past 10 years of this administration. They came into power on the basis that the PDP government failed. They pinpointed most of these areas and assured Nigerians that things were going to be fine. But 10 years down the line, the APC as a political party has failed. We can say that with all confidence and authority. That's the truth, because the reality that we are having now is such that insecurity is still here with us. Electricity is still a mirage, constant electricity that they promised. The economy being so stable that naira will equal dollar is not there. These are all imaginations, and these were the basis or the foundation on which they came on board. So much of what we have to do at this point is to just to remind them that, guys, we tried. We gave PDP 16 years. You know, they failed in between, and then you assured us that you are the solution. Okay. And 10 years down the line, we don't have luxury of another 16 years to waste on you again.
All right.
10 years down the line, you have failed. So APC need to sit down, and much of all we have to do, like what I am also lending my voice to, is the reality that APC, right, you are failing, you have failed.
All right then.
And if you don't sit up in the next 2 years, you don't even need to come and face us and tell us another lie. We will reject you.
All right then, thank you very much. Let's also bear in mind that the subsidy that this administration paid in 2024 was a record high, 1.94 trillion naira. That's historic subsidy that they have paid on electricity. Now, so let's have your concluding thoughts. I would like for you to slightly touch on this issue. Highest subsidy on electricity paid by this administration, 1.94 trillion naira, yet Nigerians don't even have power. What is the problem, really?
Yeah, it's actually impressive that such a huge sum of money has been paid on electricity. But the problem is that when the result is not gotten...
And the tariff is still high.
It's still high. What is the result? How is ordinary Nigerian, getting light in his house? So if you are paying all this money, is it not still another scam? Is it not still another subsidy fraud? Is it not still another diversion of the subsidy that they removed? Is it not another way of saying, let us remove this and use the left hand to collect back what we have removed? So it's not working. Let Nigerians see the working. They shouldn't be giving us, bogus figures. This is what they have invested. Let us go home and get light. Let the struggling Nigerians who are working to eke out a living, they are just asking for an enabling environment. They are not asking for much to thrive, just the light.
All right, then. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are wrapping up VOP this morning, but newspaper review comes up shortly, and then we'll like you to stay with us as we get into newspaper review, where we will also touch on a few of these issues as they appear in the papers. But thank you very much, Nonso Emecheta, for staying with us on VOP this morning. And also big thanks to Honorable Pascal Felix Pulevo. Well, thank you very much for your time. We do expect that we will continue this conversation at 10 o'clock. For now, we'll take a break. We'll be back at 10 with more on what's trending, what's happening in the papers. On behalf of my colleague Chukuma Okoro and the backroom staff, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day, but join us again at 10. Bye for now.